What was the biggest adjustment, I guess, coming from high school to the college level and playing almost right away, too?
I'll say the biggest adjustment is just managing my time, not having somebody else manage it. My dad and my mom, they always made my schedule since I was little. So when I got here, I had to do it. It was kind of like, man, I don't know where to put this. I don't know where to put that. So I was kind of all over the place for like the first week. But I mean, I called my mom, called my dad. They helped me out, and then everything else was pretty good.
How much did it help having that support system? I know Mom comes over for a lot of games and stuff. How much did it help, given that you were so far away from home?
It helped me out a lot. I feel like that was one of the main reasons why I was able to succeed and do everything that I did this year, because I had my mom and my dad, up here almost every other month. They were my support system since I was little. So.
Your recruitment is definitely a unique one. Is it kind of weird now to think about? It all kind of started with a tweet from a Florida State fan that led to.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, but it just goes to show, if you put your mind to something, anything can happen.
What was it about Coach Taggart and FSU that kind of, with so little time spent with them during the recruiting process, you trusted them?
Honestly, it was like a breath of fresh air, honestly. My parents, they both loved him. When they got up here, they loved everything that he was talking about, and they loved the opportunity that I had when I got here. The standard is always going to be excellence here, so, I'm going to just carry it on. So.
You talk about the importance of that support staff. I know with your family, and Derek mentioned that you're going to change the name on the back of your jersey this coming season. What was the kind of the decision behind that and your motivation?
Honestly, my mom and my dad supported me throughout my whole life, so, I just wanted to pay respect to both of them. I told my mom since I was in high school, I was like, I'm going to get your name on the back of my jersey. And she thought I was joking, but, I told her like every year, I actually got an opportunity to do it when I got here. So, I put work behind, the words. So.
How quickly do you kind of realize the role you're going to have kind of year one on the defense?
Can you say it again?
How quickly, how did you learn early on that you're going to kind of be thrust into a starting role and play a big role?
That was my mindset when I got here. My mindset was to play right away, by any means. So, I already had to get my mindset to play wherever, and me playing this, I wouldn't say it's a new spot. It was just more things that I had to do, It was just adding to my toolbox and show my versatility this year. I had to learn from, ground zero, what a power read was, what a zone read was, what a max protection was. And it was just like, I kind of was surprised myself. I'm like, man, I'm a 5-star athlete coming to Florida State, and I don't know what a zone is, and I don't know what a counter is, So, it was a humbling experience, but just learning all of those new terminologies and learning this, I wouldn't say new spot, but learning the new roles that I had to play and the new defense, kind of helped me grow as a football player.
Are you like a linebacker now, or is there a possibility you might end up moving back in the long run?
Honestly, I play, the spot is both. It's a linebacker and it's a safety, And it's like it's going to be plays where I have to go out there and I have to cover like a DB, and it might be the next play where it's like a 3rd and 1 or a formation to the boundary, and I have to get into the box and I have to play my gap. And then it might be plays where I have to come off the edge. It might be plays where I have to go back to the middle of the field and, play a zone. It just shows versatility, and, I feel like that's the beauty of this position.
Coach Taggart talked about changing the culture here and said some of the perception has, of course, been negative. Did he talk to you about that during your recruitment? And just as a player, how do you go about maybe showing that on the field and in practice, bringing that positivity?
Honestly, he talked to me about it, when I got here. He wanted me to be one of the main people who helped change the culture. And I feel like, I feel like I'm doing that. I feel like I'm setting a good example for the Tribe 19, Tribe 18, and even some dudes that's older than me. I'm just trying to, my main goal when I'm here is actually to try and help other people succeed as well. I'm trying to succeed, but helping other people succeed on the way is a benefit as well. So.
You talk about helping other people succeed. Well, who helped make the transition from high school to college easier for you? A coach, a specific player?
My dad, Coach Brown, my 707 coach. I have another Coach Brown. He's my track coach. So many people, honestly. But those are the first 3 that come to mind. They help me out every day. I'll wake up at 4 a.m., with my dad every morning, driving to school, working out before I went to school, driving back, working out after, going to Coach Brown for track workouts, and then the other Coach Brown for football workouts, and all of them actually helped humble me, because they were just telling me, you just got to work whenever. My coach, he used to have me actually work out with 5 and 6-year-olds. And, it was like a culture shock. I'm like, why am I not working out with the older kids? And he was just like, you have to be able to work and push your body even when, the competition around you isn't as good as you are. And I feel like that kind of helped me out, because when the competition might not be as good, it just helped me still, push myself to the limit. So.
Jaiden, I'm Tashawn with The Athletic. I know you kind of spoke about it already, but when did you find out that you were going to switch to that start position, and how did that conversation go?
Honestly, I went to practice one day, and they just asked me if I wanted to try this new spot. I was like, why not?
Yeah.
And I ran with it ever since.
And then as the season kind of went on, both mentally and technically, I know you also spoke on it a little bit, figuring out different running concepts and things like that. But what was the toughest part about making that switch?
The toughest part about making that switch, I would say the toughest thing was actually learning the run fits. It was it was something like a foreign language, honestly. I would get in there, and then he would tell me that I got to read a certain guard or a certain tackle. And I'm just like, I really don't know. So, I just had to, learn through getting bumps and bruises. And, eventually, I got it. Yeah.
You're one of the few sophomores that we're going to talk to today that I think was here actually for spring last year. Can you compare at all, contrast the chase last year to what it's like now?
It's a lot different, in my opinion. I feel like we have a lot more dudes that are, more connected, and when we are more connected, we kind of want to work harder for one another. We actually want to grind a little bit harder for one another, and I feel like that's a lot different this year. I'm not taking away anything from last year, but I feel like this year is a little bit better.
Have you seen, I know James, since he's been here, he's been a starter, he's been a backup, but he's always kind of been level-headed with what's conspired with the depth chart at quarterback here in the last few weeks. Have you seen anything different from James, and has he been one of the leaders out there during the chase?
Just like how he was last year, he is this year. He a leader, bringing in energy every day, and I love it. We need somebody always in the program who's always going to bring the juice every day, and that's him.
Last summer we talked to Coach Taggart about you, and he said he thought you could be president one day. I don't know if that's a goal of yours, obviously, but where did the academic intensity come from? And have you picked a major?
Yeah, my major is actually international affairs, and my mom and my dad, they always stressed academics as much as athletics. I'm only gonna be able to play football for so long.
Right.
So my academics gonna help me get to where I want to get to as well. So I need to have academic excellence and football excellence. So I need to be excellent all around, and that's just the standard in my family.
Right. So president one day?
Nah, not president. Not president.
Where does your passion for international affairs come from, and what do you see coming out of it?
Well, I want to be an urban planner. I want to be the guy who comes to the table with the blueprint. Tell everybody what to do. That's my goal. That's just something that caught my interest. When I was little, my mom and dad wanted me to be a doctor, and I was like, yeah, I want to be one too. And then when I actually figured out what it was, I had that conversation with them, like, hey, this is not what I want to do. And I actually learned about international affairs on the official visit before I came to Florida State, which is very interesting.
When you're having success as an individual, both on the field and academically, is it kind of frustrating at all when necessarily, wins don't follow?
As a competitor, it is hard, to, perform at your best, or not even your best, but, to perform well and still not have a good outcome, but, you can't let it really get to you, because at the end of the day, that's life, Just because you work hard and just because you do all the things right don't necessarily mean that, you're going to get the outcome that you want. So, I feel like that helped build a lot of character for me and my teammates. Just because we work hard don't mean that we necessarily going to get the results that we want the first time. So we just got to keep on pushing on. So, I pride myself on persistency and consistency. So, yeah.
You talked about kind of the difference from the Chase last year to this year. I mean, big thing with Coach Taggart's culture change. It seems like you've really seen a lot of that in the last year.
Yes, yeah, I've seen a lot. There's just a lot of dudes that just want to play for each other, honestly, you know, and that's amazing to see, you know, from last year to this year. You know, it was like little groups that hung out with each other, but now it's just like everybody hanging out with everybody, you know. So, I mean, it's a lot more, I don't know, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier, you know, being with everybody. You know, it's not as tense as it was last year, you know, because I don't want to speak about the past, but, you know, just it was a lot of frustration in the locker room. And, you know, I feel like when we was out there working with each other and grinding with each other, I mean, I feel like it got a lot easier for us because it's like, man, like we all out here together and we all out here working with each other. So let's get through it.
I like following you on Twitter. You have a cool Twitter account. What are you trying to accomplish with your Twitter? Because you retweet a lot of things, you comment on some things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just trying to have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to have a voice outside of football as well. You know, I just want to be a positive influence on Twitter, on Instagram. You know, there's a lot of people that have DM'd me, you know, saying, like, you know, you're a good athlete, but you retweet a lot of good things and, you know, you comment on a lot of good things as well. So, I mean, that's one of the goals. You know, I just want people to see me as a good person, and I want to motivate them to be a good person as well. I want them to know, you know, you can be a really good guy, a really smart guy, really like all around good person, and be a star athlete. So,
in the parents, did you get socially conscious from your parents that growing up, 14, 15, 16 years old?
Yeah.
It seems to matter to you.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they always had all of those things on my mind since I was little too. You know, just knowing what's going on in the world and knowing how I can affect it with, you know, my voice and my position. So.
It's gonna be trivial following.
Sorry. Back to football.
Thank you. You talked about the transition to playing the more linebacker hybrid spot. When did that kind of click for you that you realized, like, oh, I can do this and do it at a high level in a practice, in a game? Do you remember when you kind of realized that you could do it?
I mean, not really. I mean, it just kind of just happened, you know, but I knew that if I worked hard and I put my mind to it, I mean, I could do anything. You know, and that's just my mindset. That's just the way that my parents raised me. So wherever they was going to put me, if I put my mind to it, I'll be able to do it. So.
What would you say your best game was, or maybe the most complete game as a freshman? Game you're proudest of, anything like that?
I mean, I would say my best game. I don't know. I would say my most exciting game. The most fun I had in the game was against Florida, because I got a sack. That was my first sack, and I looked up to like Derwin James when I came here, and I was like, you know, he really made a name for himself when he played against Florida. So, you know, I was just thinking like, man, you know, this is the game to actually, you know, put myself on the map and put Florida State on the map too. So, you know, I feel like that was one of my better games when we played against Florida. So.
Kind of spoke about you have a lot of responsibilities at your position and your role. And last season, you know, with the injuries that you guys had at linebacker and defensive back, you guys didn't really get a ton of rest. But coming in this year, you guys just signed a big defensive back class, a few more linebackers. Are you kind of excited about being a little bit deeper? And obviously you want to be versatile, but not having as much pressure to always do everything.
Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely excited. I mean, I feel like, you know, it's a lot more people who can learn, and we're going to have a lot more, you know, ammunition to go out there. You know, a lot of other dudes going to get an opportunity to make plays, so I'm excited about that.
So did I hear you right? In high school, you get up at 4 in the morning?
Yeah.
What time did you have to go to bed? You going to bed at 9 o'clock at night?
I ain't going to bed
at
at 9. Nah, I ran on little sleep throughout high school, but, I mean, I was used to it.
Did your friends know you were doing that stuff, and what did they say? What did they think about it?
I mean, they knew, but they thought I was joking until they actually came over and experienced like a day of my life, and they was just like, man, like I don't see how you do it, but I mean, it was just normal to me, you know, it was just normal to just grind 24/7.
So now that you're here, you're not 9 a.m. practices aren't a big deal to you, huh? Because you're used to getting up.
Yeah, actually, when the first month that I got here, I have like 3 or 4 hours of free time like every day, and I would call my mom and I'd be like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I never had free time until I got here.
Right.
I need to find something to do. And, you know, she just told me like, you know, you need to take a nap or something, you know, during those times. So, yeah.
Jaiden and Derwin were kind of part of your like connection across the country to Florida State, right? Kind of what
Yeah.
put FSU on your radar even across the country.
Well, Kelvin Benjamin actually did, because I actually watched him score the game-winning touchdown at the championship. I was sitting in the front row when he scored.
He scored right in front of you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, literally, like, right there. And I was just in awe. I wanted to come here ever since that. And then I found out about Derwin James and Jalen Ramsey, and then I was like, they play my spot, so, you know, might as well come here. So.
You got to meet Jalen, right? You meet Derwin too, or?
Yeah, I got to meet both of them. I met Derwin at the opening, and I met him a couple times here. And then, like, my first, like, 2 or 3 weeks, I saw Jalen Ramsey here. So it was pretty cool.
They kind of have any like words for you or anything like that?
I mean, honestly, I was just trying to be cool, like, hey, like, you know, they're regular people too. But I mean, I really didn't say anything. I was just like, man, like, they're right here, you know.
Jaiden, sorry if you've been asked this, but you know, just what have you seen from the guys so far during the chase? Just ready to get the spring ball and just kind of turn this page a little bit.
I mean, I feel like a lot of guys are starting to play for each other a lot more compared to last year. You know, I feel like a lot more dudes are buying in, you know, to the program, and I feel like, you know, we just have, you know, a bigger chip on our shoulder compared to last year. You know, a lot of people aren't respecting us the way that we need to be respected. So, you know, I feel like we're gonna have that kind of chip on our shoulder going into the season.
Coach T said that the mindset, the mentality's been different for the guys since they've been back. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I see it every day. You know, ever since that Florida game, you know, everybody had the same mindset. You know, we're not gonna ever have a season like this at Florida State ever again. You know, we're gonna bring this school back to the standard, which is excellence. You know, every other sport is doing it, so you know, we're gonna do it as well.
For you, how much did you see your growth kind of go as 2018 went along?
I mean, I grew up a lot. You know, just, you know, learning new responsibilities for the defense and, you know, learning new things. Like, I was saying with them, like, learning what a counter was, a zone was, you know, max protection was, like, learning all of those things, you know, just growing. I feel like that helped me out a lot. And I feel like I grew as a football player, my football IQ.
To now, just going into your sophomore season, how much of a benefit is that to have learned so much, to have experienced so much?
I think it builds a lot more confidence for me. You know, going into this year, you know, I don't have to necessarily go over all of those small, minute details this year compared to last year. So I feel like, you know, we can do a lot more this year since I have a year under my belt.
Obviously, you had a lot of success as a freshman. You know, ESPN All-American, I believe they put you on the team. But for yourself personally, where do you think you need to take the biggest strides going into next year?
I mean, honestly, I feel like I can be an all-around better football player. You know, one of my main goals is I'm trying to get to like 12% body fat. You know, last year I played at like 16, 17%. You know, I feel like that's gonna help me out a lot. You know, get a little bit stronger, get a little bit faster, and, you know, just always. I want to be able to have a coach's mindset when I'm out there. I want to be able to know everything like a coach when I'm out there on the field. So, you know, that's what I'm gonna strive for this year.
Just being a part of that West Coast Knowles, what makes coming and playing for Coach T just such a desirable thing to want to be able to come out here and play for him?
I mean, we're exotic. You don't see a lot of West Coast dudes on the East Coast, you know, playing football at any school on the East Coast, especially from California. I mean, you know, that's the best state on the West, you know. Coming from California to Florida, you know, I feel like it was a game changer. I felt like I helped a lot of people, you know, have an opportunity to actually go out and pursue, you know, a dream of playing for whatever school they want to play for. You know, they don't necessarily have to stay in the state, you know. And that was one of my things. I did want to get out of the state. I did not want to stay home. I wanted to, in a sense, spread my wings, you know, and, you know, just try new things. And, I mean, it's working out pretty well for me, so.
Coach Taggart's taking some heat from the media and the fans for what you guys did last season. How does that motivate you, or do you just block all that out?
I mean, honestly, you just got to block it out. You know, we know what we have to do. You know, and by listening to the fans or listening to other people critique us, it's like that's not going to help us. You know, we have to figure out what we did that we can do better as a team and as a group individual, and just, you know, work from that.
I think Coach Taggart made a comment at the signing day party that he's had players coming to him, telling him things, not snitching on teammates, but just telling him, hey, these are things you need to look out for. Players are taking more accountability. Do you see that?
Yeah, you know, I feel like a lot more people are actually, like, you know, living up to their name and, you know, just doing the things that they're supposed to do when they got here. And, you know, it gives you chills just, you know, just thinking about it. You know, just compare from last year to this year, you know, how much more determined and disciplined we are. So.
Jen, I apologize if you've already asked this, but just collectively, your class, the rising sophomores, just how would you describe that group and what's kind of the relationship and camaraderie like with those guys?
I mean, I feel like we're a tight group. I feel like, you know, we all have the same mindset and the same goals. You know, we all hang out together. You know, we all have the same. I mean, everything's the same for us. You know, we all have the mindset of, you know, getting our degree, getting drafted, winning the national championship, you know, so.
Do you guys take pride in being, I mean, you're always going to be Coach Taggart's first group here, and you guys are the ones who are going to lay the foundation for him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we try to be a team. You know, that's what we call ourselves. So, you know, we're excited about that. You know, I feel like this class is going to, you know, have a lot to do with the outcome of this season this year, in my opinion.
No good?
Thank you.
No problem.